Hi, my name's Lydia, and I'm going to show you how I manage my work as an online language teacher. I use Airtable as a tool, which I'm about to show you on the screen. But before I do that, I'd like to explain you some context and the reason why I am filming this. So, when I first started teaching online, I was relying completely on the platform system, so the platform's methods to keeping track of certain information, like the students, the lessons time and the date, the packages, the prices, and so on. And to be honest, for this type of information, these kind of platforms, they already do and provide an awesome service to facilitate that for you, whether you're the student or the teacher. And so for that it works great, and I still rely on them. But eventually, as I got more and more lessons and more students, I realized that as a teacher, in order to provide the best teaching quality to each of my students, I felt the need to keep track of other type of information. For example, each student's level, their goals, what are they struggling with, what we've discussed in the previous lesson, the homework assignments, and so on. So all this information just started growing and growing, and I just knew that it was a matter of time before my memory would fail me. So I had to find a way to write all this information down. And my initial method was simply to use a notebook to just write all this down. But of course, this wasn't the most practical system. So I started researching out there for different tools, and eventually I came across with Airtable. And Airtable is a platform that provides a database as a service, and it's, in simple terms, just like a Google spreadsheet or Excel, but with very cool features. Anyways, I'm not here to promote Airtable. This just happens to be the tool that I'm using for this particular use case. But anyways, I started playing around with Airtable, with this tool, and eventually I created this system that works just fine. And since then, it has really facilitated and really made my life much more easier. And so I guess my goal in this video is just to show this system to others out there and see if it can benefit someone else other than myself. So yeah, let me show you now what I mean. So this is my Tutoring base. I named it Template because it's literally a copy of my original version, just without the records. And here, instead of share, it's supposed to be copy base, I believe. You can click on it and this base will be duplicated, and on this duplicated version you'll be able to edit it the way you want it. Before I explain all of this in more detail, let me remind you that this whole base it's created by me, so it's very specific and very personalized, and therefore I wish it would, but I highly doubt that this base as it is will work for anyone else. There's this awesome feature of Airtable that allows you to link or interconnect a field with another one, not only from this field, but it can maybe be connected to a field in another table. So this is a table, and this is another table, and this is another table. And so if you delete this one, this column, this field, you might be affecting another one, and that one maybe will stop working. Yeah, this is a feature, but at the same time, if you don't know how this all works, then you'll start deleting things and things will start not working. So my recommendation for that is, instead of using my base literally like to put your own information here, what I highly recommend actually is for you to start a new base from scratch and just play around with it at first. Try different things. It's as easy as clicking the plus button and you'll have a new field and see all its options. I can understand it. For some people it can seem very overwhelming, but they're very cool and each of them works differently, and so you need to just play around with it and see what suits you best. The advantage of this is, first, you'll get to know this tool and understand it better, and in case in the future there's something not working or just failing, you'll be able to fix it. And another advantage is you also give yourself some time to think through what is exactly that I want to input, what is exactly that I want to keep track of and be able to see it here. Each of us teachers are different, and so some things that I'll be tracking won't probably interest you. So just play around with this tool. And you can use mine as maybe as a reference or an idea, basically. Okay, so in classes, this line is a record. It's called a record, and each record is just a lesson. And this lesson is invented, and it has several information about the lesson. But before this, I'd like to explain you the student. I find very useful to sort of keep a profile of each student. I created this example. Juanito apparently doesn't exist. I find useful to track several information about a student, like their nationality, what do they want to learn from me, platform, some extra information that, as you can see, is super random. Favorite color, favorite food. This can be like grown eventually. The more information you know about the student, I find that the more you can adapt to them needs. So favorite food, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, you can whatever. Skype, email, in case I need to email him. I have all the information here. This is super cool way to store things. Whether he's active or not, number of classes. So not all of this information I need to input it. Some of them are calculated from other fields. So for instance, this is Juanito's profile, right? And I already have a class ready to do with him, let's say in October 27th. This is also invented. So imagine Juanito wants another class with me. So I come here, I create another record. And I go, what students do I have? Okay, for now I just have Juanito. So I click on Juanito. Juanito wants a class with me for December 29th at whatever time. And you can input some information here. We'll link this to December. Yeah. And we go back here. And instead of number of classes being 1, it has automatically turned to 2. So this is one way to manually input the lesson, like this. Another way is to use a form. I already created an example of a form. In this lesson form, there's this information that I think is necessary. You can configure this form as you want, and then you can open this link and it works. So you see, it's a form. The cool thing about this is it's super practical. It's more practical than the manual way. Having this link, you can pass it to your devices, smartphones, tablets, whatever, and make, how do you call that? Like a quick access of this link, or store it in a way that you can access it easily. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to open a computer just to input a new lesson on Airtable. So I have my smartphone, I just click on this link and this form pops up. I filled up this form with the necessary information, and then it will appear directly here like we did it manually as a new record. It's super cool, right? And there's actually a third option on how to input this information. There's the manual way, the form way, and the third way is by using Zapier. Zapier is another platform outside of Airtable, and it's a tool. Essentially what it does is it reads the information from one platform and it puts it in another one. It's super cool, but also super complicated to explain it now, and I don't mind if you guys are more interested in knowing more about it. I can make another video about it. My Airtable is zapped to my calendar, so every time I receive a lesson, my calendar already has the lessons information there because of my language platform. It automates that already, and so Zap helps read the calendar's information, and it creates all that information here, and it basically creates new records all the time. Every time I have a lesson, it creates the record itself, and I don't have to input anything manually. So the job done already. Cool. Can sound a bit creepy, I understand, but it's super cool. So yeah, what else can I say? Students profile, you have the profile there, and monthly. Monthly is, I think out of all of these tables, this is the one that I find most useful, because it's the one that all the results go here, are viewed here, and in a very cool way. So you can see how much you're earning per month. You can see how much percentage of new students you have, how many are learning Spanish, how many are learning other languages. What else here? How much are you earning per hour on average, etc. And the cool thing is, this monthly table, other than creating this manually, the record, I go like September, for example. This is the only thing I touch here, and the rest is all calculated automatically from information that you input in classes. And each lesson in classes are linked to a month. So all of that information from classes, you can see it in different ways here. Yeah, I find it very cool. And 9 means not a number, so for now there's no classes, so this is not be able to calculate. And resources, it's just, I find it actually quite useful to have this. In resources, I put links, a lot of links from different podcasts, books, recommendations, material, resources. There's a lot of cool blogs about how to improve a language or secrets of a language, I don't know. Whatever thing that I find useful, I put it here. It stays here, and I know that whenever I want to remind myself, oh, I saved this awesome link. Where did I put it? Okay, it's here. One more thing. Once a class is complete, I just go here, and this is just the same as this, but viewed in this way. So after a lesson, I usually click on completed, and I enter some information. We talked about fish and life, whatever, and he learned. This is just information like a system that I found useful enough. And next class, remind myself to do pretérito perfecto. Sorry, compuesto. Yeah, so Spanish. And then I close this, right? It's not deleted the record, it's saved in all classes. This is just a view of this table, and you can put filters, and in all classes you can view everything, and you can create as many views as you want. By creating a view, you don't delete anything, and you can put different filters or sort it in different ways. You must play around with this to understand it, but it's pretty awesome. I just have one class left, and usually what I do before a lesson, I go to Juanito, and this is how I prepare for a lesson. As you can see, this what you can see here is the same as going to students. Oh, look at this link. Oh, I didn't know this. Beautiful line. Yeah, it already, as you can see, tells you it's in students. This is Juanito's profile, yeah? And this is information I know about him, and I think it's super awesome to be able to see it. And one other thing down here, the more classes you have with Juanito, this will grow, right? So class number 1 was already completed. I can click on the last class and I can read what I commented to myself. Oh yeah, next class, I reminded myself to do pretérito perfecto compuesto. So, cool. I know what I have to do with Juanito on the next lesson. So I close everything, I prepare the lesson, and this is how I manage essentially my job as an online language teacher. So this is it. If you have more questions, I'm very happy to see, listen, read your feedback, and I'm happy to help for anything. So yeah, that's it. Hope you have a nice teaching time and life. Bye.